Is this the right time to sell? Hi, I'm Gary, and that's the question I get asked almost every single day right now. And honestly, the answer is different for everyone. But there's one thing I know for sure. If you don't understand what your property is actually worth in today's market, you can't even begin to answer that question. So, in the next 8 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening in Singapore private property market right now, what it means for you as a homeowner, and what you should be thinking about if selling has crossed your mind. And if at the end of this, you want to know what your own property is worth, no agent chasing you, no pressure, I'll tell you exactly how to get that for free. The link is in the description. Okay, let's look at the number first, because this is where a lot of people get it wrong. According to the latest URA data, overall private residential property price went up to 0.3% in Q1 2026. Now, some people look at that and think the market is slowing down and panic. But here's the thing, prices are still going up, it's just a steadier pace now. Think of it like this. The market ran pretty hard over the last few years. What we're seeing now is it's finding its feet, not falling. But here's the part that really matters if you're thinking of selling. Transaction volume. Meaning, actual deals closing dropped about 40% compared to the previous quarter. That doesn't mean buyers disappeared. It means they got picky. They're comparing more, taking longer, and walking away from anything that isn't priced right or presented well. Which, if you're a seller who actually prepare, that's good news. It means less competition from lazy sellers. Now, this is where it gets interesting and where a lot of homeowners are making a mistake. Not all private property is moving the same way right now. If you own a condo or apartment, what we call non-landed, prices actually bounced back in Q1 this year, up 1% after a small dip the quarter before. That's a positive signal. But if you own a landed property, prices dropped 1.8% this quarter after going up 3.4% the quarter before. So it's been more volatile. The point is, before you make any decision, you need to know which segment you're in, because the same quarter told two completely different stories. So, should you be selling? Honestly, it depends on three things. First, when did you buy? If you bought before 2021, you're very likely accumulated solid gains over the years. The market has run up significantly since then. The paper profit is real. The question is whether you want to lock it in or keep holding. Second, what's your next move? Selling without a plan is just stressful. Are you upgrading, right-sizing, moving cash into something else? The answer to that determines everything, including whether now is actually the right time for you specifically. Third, are you an HDB upgrader? Here's something interesting. HDB resale prices just saw their first quarterly dip in nearly 7 years. For people looking to move from HDB into private, this is actually a moment where the gap between the two markets is shifting in your favor. Worth thinking about. This is probably the most useful thing I can share with you today. How to think about what your property is actually worth right now. Most homeowners I talk to have a number in their head. And almost every time that number is either based on what their neighbor got 2 years ago or what they just feel it should be worth. Neither of those is the market. Look at the transacted prices. URA publish every single transaction that happened in Singapore. Go to their website, find your development, and look at what units actually sold for in the last 6 months. Not asking price, actual done deal. Compare on the price per square foot basis. This strip out the emotion. Your unit, floor facing, condition, this all affect where you sit relative to those recent transactions. Understand who's buying. According to PropNext research, non-landed private properties have seen around 4.74% year-on-year growth. And if your unit is the $1.2 to $2 million range, you're sitting right in the sweet spot for HDB upgraders, one of the biggest and most motivated buyers groups in the market right now. Now, if all of that sounds like a lot of work, that's completely fair. Most people don't have the time to dig through URA data and cross-reference transactions. That's exactly why I put together a free instant valuation tool. The link is in the description. Alright, so where does that leave you? Here's what I'll suggest as your next 3 move. Get your number first. You can't make a good decision without knowing what your property is worth today. Use the free valuation tool in the description. It takes 2 minutes and gives you a real data-backed indication based on actual market transactions. 2. Check your mortgage and your seller's stamp duty window. If you're still within the SSD holding period, that cost eats directly into your profit. And with the rates moving, it's worth reviewing whether your current mortgage package is still working for you. Stop waiting for the perfect top. I've seen people wait for the market to go just a little bit higher and end up selling lower. Singapore property market is well managed. Nobody rings a bell at the peak. So sell when it makes sense for your goals, not when the market tells you to. Link in the description. Free instant valuation, no agent chasing you, just your number. Your property is probably the biggest financial decision of your life. It deserves more than guesswork. If this video gave you even one thing to think about, drop it a like. It genuinely helps more people find the content who need it. And if you want to stay up to date on what's happening in Singapore property market without all the noise and hype, hit the subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. And remember, if you want to know what your property is worth right now, the link for the free instant valuation is in the description. No agents, no chasing, just your number. I'll see you in the next one.